You are here because you want to know how to get bigger and stronger muscles, so I simplified some of the most important principles for muscle growth. Rearrange the time you spend working out. When training your muscles, they go through a cycle that looks something like this. First you get fatigued, then recover, and then there's a crucial supercompensation window where your muscles are stronger. The key is to rest just until the peak of that window. Therefore, training a muscle group for multiple hours and then snoozing the next 2 weeks is not the most optimal way of training, because by doing this you will not fully utilize the supercompensation window. To fix this, take those long workouts and split them into a few shorter workouts. And you might think, well, then my muscles aren't going to be as fatigued as before and won't grow as much. But in reality, your muscles don't just grow bigger the more sets you do. This study shows well what happens the more sets you do. The graph is going to differ a little from person to person, but still shows that the majority of the effect of working out comes from the first sets, and therefore I'd argue that training your muscles twice a week with half the sets is better than once a week with double the sets. I can't give you a precise answer about how long you should rest, because there's many factors that play a role such as genetics, training intensity, muscle type, and muscle size. A rule of thumb is to get at least 2 or 3 days rest before training the same muscle group again, but there's really no golden number that fits everyone, so try to experiment yourself. Lastly, remember that you don't have to do 12 sets of biceps every workout. Failure is unavoidable, so plan for it. You need to know what to do in different situations where you can't do your usual workout, because some days you just won't have time for a full workout. These days, it's super important to have a backup plan, because if you don't, you will most likely end up doing nothing, which is not what we want. You can almost always make space for some sort of workout to keep the momentum going. The most important thing that you need to realize is that you don't have to do a full workout to work out. Here's some exercises with increasing difficulty that you can choose from. If you have 30 minutes of spare time, then have a short home workout ready to do. If you have an hour, you can perhaps do a short workout at the gym if it's not too far away, or you can do a longer home workout. Just make sure to have the program ready so you can start immediately. This way you don't waste precious time if you don't have too much time. Those few days where you have absolutely no time, the most important thing is that you get back at it the next planned workout. If you allow yourself to miss 2 workout days in a row, you might start a bad pattern which you definitely don't want to. Use progressive overload. Progressive overload simply means making the exercise more difficult, and the most common way to do this is by either doing more reps or adding more weight. Without progressive overload, you will never really make any significant progress. Therefore, it is super important to keep track of your exercises, how many sets and reps you do, and with which weight so that you can do progressive overload. Let's say you are doing squats in a 5 to 8 rep range and can currently squat 50 kilos for 3 sets of 5 reps. In the next workout, you will now try to do 6 reps in at least one of the sets, then slowly go up in reps until you hit 8 reps. Now that you hit the maximum of your rep range, you can up the weight to, for example, 55 kilos, and go back to 3 sets of 5 reps. Now repeat this cycle and you will ensure progress. Sometimes you may hit a plateau where you feel like you just can't progress. When this happens, there's a few different ways to break through the plateau. First, you can try to add an extra set to that exercise for a few workouts, and see if it helps. You can also try to reduce the rest time and still try to do the same amount of reps. If you can do that, you will have made progress because you lifted to same weight in a shorter time span. Another method to break plateaus is to do slower reps and perhaps also add a pause at the bottom of the rep. If you have tried all of this and have been stuck for a couple of weeks, then it might be time to try an exercise variation. If your progress is stuck on the squat, switch to leg press for a couple of months and then go back to squats, and you will most likely be able to break through that old plateau. Have a specific training plan. Let me just get something out the way. You don't need to switch workout program every month and learn the most advanced exercises. Seriously, you don't need to do 20 different exercises you found on TikTok either. You'll be just fine with a basic workout plan. Having a specific training plan that you stick to will make it much easier to track progress and do progressive overload since you'll be doing the same exercises each week. You can use an app like Strong or Boost Camp or just use the Notes app on your phone. A specific training plan will also make it less overwhelming to train and even save you time as you will always know exactly what to do. You won't have to plan every day what exercises to do. So, which training plan should you follow? Well, if you are a beginner, you can just use the one I'm about to give you. When you get a bit more experience with the exercises, you can change it up to your preferences and add some more exercises. The workout split I recommend for beginners is called a full body split. You will switch between only 2 different workouts for the sake of simplicity and getting comfortable with the exercises faster. Here are the 2 workouts. You have great growth potential as a beginner, and hitting many muscle groups frequently will help take advantage of that potential fast. Here's some honorable mentions you can add later in your workout journey. Let me know if you want a more in-depth video on the program. If you want to save time, I highly recommend doing supersets. But if you have the time and want to do it without the supersets, then feel free to do so. It can slightly increase your overall strength and performance since you will get more rest between exercises. You can also switch it up so that you do the supersets when you don't have much time. Lastly, remember that some workouts are gonna suck, and that's totally okay. It's just one workout. Just keep going at it. The most important thing is to show up and build a habit of going consistently to the gym. Nutrition and supplementation. You have most likely heard that a good diet plays a huge role in muscle gains, and that's because it's true, but it's a pretty big area to cover, so I will save that for another video if you guys would like that. Sleep. Same thing goes for sleep. It plays a huge role in muscle growth and is also a pretty huge area to cover. Therefore, make sure to comment if you want a video on either of these 2 topics.